What I believe is the number one thing that we've seen is like content. Back in the day, 2, 3, 4 years ago, we were having to pay for content. We were paying for 400 to 500 word articles. And that was pretty much standard throughout the industry. You go out and buy 10 articles for your plumbers and 10 articles for your, garage coating, go out and just purchase content. Well, that was two things that caused that. One is Google was okay with that back then. And two, it was somewhat affordable. If you got 1,000 word article, your costs were now double. And so as an agency owner buying content for clients, you're like, okay, well, do I spend 400 or do I spend 200? Well, that kind of all changed throughout the algorithm updates. One of the first algorithm updates, so about over a year ago now, was around like content. We saw that. We went back and we had, blogs that were 300 words. We had pages that were 300 words. And we went back and said, okay, well, let's add 300 words to each page. And we saw an increase. So we saw a way to come out of that. So nowadays, we still see like content. I'm doing a big audit right now, and probably 70% of the site is less than 500 words per page. And again, talk about crawl budget. I think Google would rather crawl a page with 1,000 words than 500. It's just more information to absorb, more information to digest, more ways to give you different credit. So right now, I believe our minimums are anywhere between 800 and 1,200 words per page. That's the first thing. Second thing is the internal linking now. So the internal linking structure of a website has to be dialed in topically. So the old days of writing a blog about web design, and now all of a sudden you mention SEO, you're going to put a link over to the SEO page. You mentioned internet marketing. Oh, here's a link over to the internet marketing page. But your blog's around web design. Those kind of systems are done also. So that's actually the fastest way that we see an increase in rankings is changing the internal anchors of the current content. That's the biggest bump we've seen. And so we'll go back and look at topically through categories. Here's all your web design categories. We'll pump them into or NetPeak Spider, or some people like Screaming Frog, and we'll figure out what all those internal links are for that web design topic. And anything that's not within web design, we go in and change back to web design. So we're getting rid of all the SEO, we're getting rid of all the internet marketing, email marketing, all that crap. And so we've gone now and topically internally linked our websites. You're still going to have overlapping content, totally fine. We do that all the time. Why does Google love WordPress for SEO? Well, obviously you're going to have links to WordPress and SEO on that blog, but because it's not topically generated for one specific topic. But keeping it topically relevant and keeping it tight, because if you want to rank for web design and you go through a web design cluster and all of a sudden you've got a link over to the SEO, Google's gone. They're over to the SEO now. They're not giving you any credit for your web design anymore because you sent them away. So that's number 2. And number 3 is I think you've really got to be better with your header tags. So the old days of Dallas Plumber being your H1, I don't think give you as much credit compared to, finding a local plumber in Dallas, making it more, grammatically sentence related correct than just saying, hey, Dallas Plumber. And so I think that's the third biggest thing as far as the things you can do to improve it.